What Really Happened to Stella Stevens, star in Girls. 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 Stella Stevens was born Estelle Eggleston on October 1, 1938, in Yazoo City, Mississippi, the only child of Thomas Ellett Eggleston and his wife Dovey Estelle. One of her great-grandfathers was Henry Clay Tyler, an early settler from Boston and a jeweler who gave the Yazoo City courthouse cupola its clock. When Stevens was 4, her parents moved to Memphis, Tennessee, where they lived on Carrington Road near Highland Street. Her father was an insurance salesman, and her mother was a nurse. Stevens attended St. Anne's Catholic School on Highland Street and Sacred Heart School on Jefferson Avenue, finishing her final year of high school in 1955 at the Memphis Evening School at Memphis Tech High School. At age 16, she married electrician Noble Herman Stevens on December 1, 1954, probably in Memphis. They had one child, Herman Andrew Stevens, who would later be known as actor-producer Andrew Stevens. He is Stella's only child. The couple divorced in 1957, but Stella and her son retained a variation of her ex-husband's surname as their own professional surnames. While studying at Memphis State College, she became interested in acting and modeling. According to her official biography, her schooling in Memphis included a couple of years at Memphis State University, where she was noticed in the school play Bus Stop. The Memphis Press-Scimitar review of that performance in Memphis sparked her career. In 1959, Stevens made her film debut in Say One for Me, a modest musical produced by and starring Bing Crosby, appearing in the minor role of a chorus girl. That same year, Stevens' contract with 20th Century Fox was dropped after 6 months. After winning the role of Appassionata von Climax in the musical Lil Abner. In 1960, she won the Golden Globe Award for New Star of the Year, actress for her performance in Say One for Me, sharing the distinction with fellow up-and-comers Tuesday Weld, Angie Dickinson, and Janet Monroe. Throughout the late 1950s and 1960s, Stevens achieved success as a model. When high-speed Ektachrome film was introduced in 1959, Stevens was the first person ever photographed for a formal portrait by the light of a single candle and several reflectors for the cover of a photography magazine. In January 1960, she was Playboy magazine's Playmate of the Month and was also featured in Playboy pictorials in 1965 and 1968. She was included in Playboy's 100 Sexiest Stars of the 20th Century, appearing at number 27. During the 1960s, she was one of the most photographed women in the world. In 1961, she starred opposite Bobby Darin in John Cassavetes' Too Late Blues, and in 1962, she starred opposite Elvis Presley in Girls. 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 The following year she appeared in 2 successful comedy films, Jerry Lewis' The Nutty Professor in 1963, as his student and love interest Stella Purdy, and in Vincent Minnelli's The Courtship of Eddie's Father, playing the would-be Miss Montana beauty queen. In 1964, she signed a contract with Columbia Pictures. Following appearances in Synonym and The Secret of My Success, Stevens starred as a sexy but clumsy government agent opposite Dean Martin in the Matt Helm spy spoof The Silencers. Her final film for Columbia was Where Angels Go, Trouble Follows, in which she played Sister George. In 1970, Stevens starred opposite Jason Robards in Sam Peckinpah's The Ballad of Cable Hogue, for which she received positive reviews. In his review in the New York Times, Roger Greenspun wrote, "But it is Stella Stevens, at last in a role good enough for her, who most wonderfully sustains and enlightens the action." In 1972 she starred in Irwin Allen's hugely successful disaster film The Poseidon Adventure, starring Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine, Roddy McDowall, and Shelley Winters. Stevens played the role of Linda Rogo, the refreshingly outspoken ex-prostitute wife of Borgnine's character. Although she continued to appear in feature films for the next 4 decades, Stevens shifted the focus of her career to television series, miniseries, and movies. Stevens appeared in several top television series in the 1960s, including Alfred Hitchcock Presents, General Electric Theater, and Ben Casey. One of her earliest television appearances was in a critically acclaimed 1960 episode of Bonanza, Silent Thunder, playing a deaf mute. In the early 1970s, she began working regularly on television series, miniseries, and movies. She appeared in episodes of such popular series as Banasic and Police Story, as well as the pilot films for Wonder Woman, The Love Boat, and Heart to Heart. In late 1976, Stevens purchased a ranch in Methow Valley near Carlton, Washington, on the eastern edge of the Cascade Mountains. She also opened an art gallery and bakery in the nearby small town of Twisp, Washington. In 1979, she appeared along with her son Andrew Stevens in the Oregon Trail episode Hannah's Girl. In the 1980s, she continued to work regularly in series such as Newhart, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Highway to Heaven, Night Court, Murder, She Wrote, and Father Dowling Mysteries. Stevens appears in 34 episodes of the primetime soap opera Flamingo Road from 1981 to 1982, as Lute Mae Sanders, the former madam of a brothel. In 1983, Stevens began a long-term relationship with rock guitarist Bob Kulick. Through at least 1990, they shared Stevens' Beverly Hills home. From 1989 to 1990, she had a role in Santa Barbara as Phyllis Blake. Her string of appearances on popular television series continued into the 1990s with the comish, Burke's Law, Highlander. The series, Silk Stockings, and General Hospital. She also appeared in the critically acclaimed miniseries In Cold Blood. Her television career continued into the 2000s when she appeared in an episode of 20 Good Years in 2006. In early 2015, she and partner Bob Kulick sold her longtime home in Beverly Hills. She is now in a long-term Alzheimer's care facility in Los Angeles, and Kulick often visited her there until his death on May 28, 2020. I have seen 8 Stella Stevens films. Favorites are The Courtship of Eddie's Father, The Poseidon Adventure, The Nutty Professor, and The Silencers. Others I have seen are How to Save a Marriage and Ruin a Life, Where Angels Go Trouble Follows, Lil Abner, and The Battle of Cable Hogue. There are 2 more she did with Glenn Ford that I will have to look up. Thank you for what Stella Stevens has brought. Everything is repeated as a souvenir. These beautiful things will keep in the hearts of old childhoods. Wish Stella Stevens a healthy and happy life, and especially to those who watch this video. Thank you very much.